Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before, this is GABNET, the Great American Broadcast Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard the GABNET Tour bus. Today our tour will take us up and around the newly designed GABNET.net webpage. For your safety, please stay seated while the bus is in motion and enjoy your trip. Also, remember that tipping your tour guide is greatly appreciated. Okay, we're off. The first place of interest that we're going to pass on the top left, you'll see a rotating billboard of all of the great GABNET programs. Legend has it that legendary broadcaster Alex Bennett created this billboard to attract early visitors to GABNET and to lure them into his site. To this day, it's one of the top attractions on our tour. Up next, look over at the top right and you'll see the most recent video of Alex Bennett's Ramble. And if you're lucky enough, we'll see Alex interacting with the citizen panel. Always a tour highlight. Did I mention that tipping your tour guide is greatly appreciated? As we approach the bottom of the Ramble video, we see quick links to all the ways that you can connect with GABNET programs. Facebook Live, YouTube, TuneIn, Livestream, Vimeo, and the GABNET Roku channel. They're all additional stops that you can make if you choose to step off the bus. But remember, please tip your tour guide if you do, and then you can hop on the next bus. Here's another highlight on our tour. On the left side, you'll see GABNET On Demand. You can quickly access any of the most recent programs there. Clearly, a value spot on our tour because downloads are at no extra cost. Please give your attention now to the right side. Look at the complete tutorial on how easy it is to become a citizen panelist. By the way, if you're a Luddite, there's a phone number that you can use to dial in. Okay, we're nearing the halfway point on our trip. I certainly hope that you're enjoying it. Oh look, there's the convenient call Skype button that you can click on, which will automatically connect you to the citizen panel. So now we're turning down the center of the page. I don't want you to miss any of these attractions, so please pay attention. Up first is a link to the 24/7 feed. Now these are going to come fast and furious, so pay attention. Next is a quick note on how you can hear GABNET on Amazon Echo. Next, quickly coming behind that, and this is always exciting, a screen that shows Alex Bennett's Ramble when it is live, with a countdown to the next show. It's always fun when we pass and the show is live. We're winding down our tour of GABNET.net, but before we reach our final stop, it's important to note that there is a place for you to contact them with your comments. Let them know how you like GABNET.net and the GABNET programming. And with that, we wrap up our tour. Remember, as you step off the bus, to please be careful. And also remember that GABNET is talk like you've never heard or seen it before. Did I mention, please tip your tour guide?
Reasons why you tune into GABNET. Reason number 29, the Citizen Panel.
I'm saying that he could actually, a good lawyer might be able to make a case that he cannot get a fair trial anywhere in the United States because the President of the United States said, quote, he should be executed. And if you can't find a fair jury anywhere in this country because they've all been exposed to this.
No, he'll never go to trial if he's treated as an enemy combatant.
He's not being treated as an enemy combatant, Phil.
He's basically a citizen. He has a green card. He has all the rights that a citizen of the United States has because he has a green card. Either you want to follow the Constitution of the United States or not. Go to Russia if you don't want to follow the rules.
He said that he did this for ISIS. He had a note in his thing. He had phone calls on his cell phone, and he says that he did it for ISIS. Therefore,
okay, so Phil, if you did that, you should be able to be treated as an enemy combatant.
I think so.
GABNET. Reasons to listen every day. Log on to GABNET.net for more. GABNET. It's talk like you've never heard it before. Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before. This is GABNET, the Great American Broadcast Network.
Hey!
Hey, everybody. How are you? It's the Ramble. Here we are. Here we go. Here goes nothing. All right? Here goes nothing. Over there, right there, what are you looking down for? They can't see your face. You look like, our guest who always only is like from the nose up.
Anyway, I was just watching Damon. He did it in under a minute. Actually, I think he did it in under...
Yeah, he does it really fast.
Like 30 seconds.
I wish Jack Bishop would do it that fast.
I was going to say,
the other night he didn't get it done till 2:30 in the morning.
Serious?
And I sit around, and my deal is I have to sit here and post the shows and put them up so they're on the on-demand and everything.
I love watching Damien. And so I got to
wait.
Damien's great. I said, boom, 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 out.
Usually I post his shows while I've got like an interview going with Bubs, and I mean I can go there right after.
Yeah.
It's ready. It's ready to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's
Damon, you're the best.
Damien.
I said Damien.
You said Damon.
I did not.
You said Damon.
Fuck you.
Wait a minute. What? What did you say?
You heard me.
Did you say fuck you?
You heard me.
What kind of an answer?
I said whatever I said. Because you're always on my case, and I'm tired of it.
I'm not on your case.
You're on my case in the bedroom. You're on my case here.
What do you mean I'm on your case? Well, how was I on your case in the bedroom?
I don't want to argue. You talk.
No. Yes. No, let's talk.
I don't want to talk
argue.
to you.
Come on, they like it when we argue.
Fuck it, I don't care.
Huh? Oh, you've used the word fuck twice already, and the show's hardly
started. We're
not
on a network.
Yeah.
we're below sea level here.
I think you hate me.
Today I do. Tonight I did, actually.
Really?
Well, the way you had your little pissy fit.
Well, no, yeah.
I mean, God forbid I don't put two eyeballs and stare at the television program that he wants to watch. I could do two things, Alex.
As a matter of fact, you fall asleep during something I want to watch.
What?
And then all of a sudden when there's some dopey movie on that you found on Netflix, that you stay awake for.
The first couple things I watch when I come home from work, I do fall asleep. I admit that.
Well, then I won't watch anything that I want to have somebody enjoy with me.
Whatever. I mean, what does it bother you if I fall asleep?
It bothers me because I want some company when I'm watching.
You have company.
I mean, I can go in the guest room and watch it.
Well, then do that.
Not have to watch you sleep.
Well, I don't have to hear your lip.
Oh, jeez.
Well, it's true. You were so nasty.
Okay, I'm saying I want a divorce.
Okay.
Okay?
You'll pay for it.
What do you mean I'll pay for it?
You want it. Take it. Get it.
Oh, you mean, in other words, I can't get out of this unless I pay for it?
Well, you're the one that wants it.
Well, and when I go to court and the judge says, Alex, why? I'm going to say because she doesn't stay awake during TV shows.
That's right.
I don't think that's going to fly, do you?
I hope it does.
I don't think that will fly.
You were so nasty, and you never apologize. You just storm out of the room. If you're going to go to sleep, I'm going to go in the other room.
I apologize.
Apology accepted. For now.
For now.
For now.
What do I have to apologize
because
for?
You started bad-mouthing me, and then you walked out of the room.
I didn't bad-mouth you.
You did, too. You started hollering at me because I nodded out or because I was looking at my iPad. God forbid I should...
Oh, yeah, but then something goes wrong with the iPad, and who's the first person you ask to fix it for you?
Hey, that's your job.
Oh, my mail isn't coming in.
Well, it's true.
Well, that's because you use that fucking Gmail.
Well, I can't help it. I mean, the nyc.rr.com didn't exactly work out.
Well, you never used it.
That was my only mail that I used.
Oh, well, you could use... you have a Gabnet address.
I don't have a Gabnet address.
Yes, you do.
I'm not changing again. It took me 2 years to get everything changed.
Well, what I'm saying about it, here's what the problem is with Gmail that I don't like.
I agree with you.
I like to know that I can, say, eliminate my mail here, but it's still isn't eliminated until I completely delete it.
Well, that's what I thought, because especially like with CITIC, there's a lot of stuff. I have to go back a couple of years.
No, but you're not Gmail on CITIC.
No, I'm not, but I mean, I like it that way. I didn't realize that
Yeah, I
This
mean,
did it.
Gmail, it will stay, okay? I mean, rather, your Citic will stay. But Gmail it's a thing called, there are two things. There's IMAP, and then there's POP, and then there's IMAP, and it's IMAP. And what happens is iCloud's the same way, by the way. Your Apple Cloud is the same way. It's not POP, it's IMAP. And so if you erase something on any one of the machines that you have,
it appears on everything.
It disappears.
So I
on
thought I
all
was
of them.
saving them on the iPad, just getting rid of them in the office.
Yeah. You know, you were getting rid. If it's either iCloud, that's why on Gabnet, when I got the Gabnet.net email address, which I pay a decent amount of money for every year.
Yeah, but if I switch over,
they wanted me to do an IMAP account, and I said no, I want a POP account because I didn't want that kind of thing. That if I move it over to, I think if you move it over to a save thing, in other words, into a mail
box,
a folder, it will remain there, okay? But I don't know. It's ridiculous, and that's why I don't use Gmail. That's why I tried Gmail, because what happened was and this happens a lot when you switch from Spectrum from Time Warner. Yeah, from Roadrunner to FiOS. FiOS does not have email addresses, by the way.
Which is weird.
Well, they just don't. I think they figured.
Isn't that AT&T?
Yeah, no, FiOS isn't AT&T.
What did AT&T?
FiOS is Verizon.
What did AT&T just buy? What cable company?
What did they just buy? They bought CNN and a whole bunch of things. HBO. Yeah, they bought Time Life. That's what they bought. Time Warner. Whatever. Anyway, they don't give you. FiOS doesn't give you an email address. Most companies do, but FiOS doesn't.
If I switch to Gabnet.net, then in another year or something, you're going to say, "Oh, I don't want this anymore," and then I'm going to be stuck again.
I'll probably keep paying for it every year anyway. Yeah, just to be able to keep that address. It's just, I thought it was easy. Okay, this is funny. I thought it was easy.
What was easy?
My email address, you can all know because you can all write me, because nobody wants to fucking write me anyway.
Nobody wants to talk to old people.
Is alex@gabnet.net.
Right, that makes sense.
Very simple, okay? Yesterday, I'm on with the hospital trying to get my x-rays, and she says, "What's your email address?" And I say, Alex, ALEX, @gabnet.net. And she says, Rabnet? Labnet? Frabnet? I went, look, it's GABNET. She says, EENE. And I couldn't believe it, because I thought I had come up with the simplest.
Well, I have the same thing. Mine is OK Mills. So she says, "What's your email address?" I say, OK Mills. She thinks I'm saying OK. So what I say it's the letters OKMILLS.
Yeah.
I have to do it that way.
But so, it's alex@gabnet.net. It couldn't be simpler. And what happened was, because FiOS didn't give an email address, and because I was going to lose mine immediately. See, there should be a law that if you leave a cable company,
well, like a telephone, you could take your telephone number with you.
Well, you should be able to take that with you, or you should be able to pay like $5 a month to keep it. But no, they don't. They say no, nothing you can do to keep it. The only way you can keep it is you got to have our minimum service for like $20 a month or something.
Jesus.
And then you can keep your address. Well, I didn't like the address anyway. It was aBennett@nyc.rr.com. And people go,
what?
Why so many dots?
Yeah, yeah.
So anyway, this was pretty simple all the way around. And so I had to go get something. So I went to Gmail, but I didn't like it. I just found that I didn't like the fact that it was an IMAP system, and that it's simply, if I took something off of it, or I took something off of my iPhone or my iPad or whatever, but I wanted to leave it on my machine.
That was my thing. I was deleting it in the office thinking, well, I have no problem. I have it here. And I went to look for the video to send to my friend Ruth, and I couldn't find it. It was gone.
Yeah. See, that's what happens. So, you know, that's
So yeah, you're my IT person. So everything IT is
no.
you.
So, but what I was going to say is that number one, cable companies should be forced to at least offer you for a year after you stop leave. Okay, if you have so many years with them or so much time, if you're only with them for 3 months and then you leave, fuck you, you know. But that's not the case.
Well, now that the internet is going private, it's
yeah. So anyway, so I mean, you should be able to keep your email address. So I went out and I bought my own email address.
So I can get on that.
You are on it.
How am I on that?
I gave you an address.
When? Don't give me that silly
I gave you
look.
an address. I told you.
Don't look at me with those sad, droopy eyes.
I told you.
Don't look at me with
No, you don't listen to me. I told you a long time ago that you have that address.
Well, maybe it's your tone.
No, but it's whatever is the first part.
Okay, Mills?
Look, now everybody knows, and they'll all write you on it now.
It's all right. Nobody else writes me. Nobody wants to talk to old people.
Yeah, but you know, you have an account at Gabnet. So does Jack Bishop.
Jack at gabnet.net.
No, is it something else? No, it's something else.
His other name?
Net, yeah.
His other name?
Yeah. I think it's J Bishop at gabnet.net. But you see, the great thing about having the gabnet.net, you could have almost anything. You know how when you go to something like Apple and you want to have your Apple account, you go, okay, I want a Bennett, and they go, oh, sorry, taken. Hey, Bennett 1, nah, taken. A Bennett 1, 2, taken. 3, no, taken. A Bennett 5 million, taken.
That's how I got the okay on my Mills, because Mills was taken. That's my nickname.
Yeah.
And that's how I got the okay in front of it.
Yeah. So you know, that was the reason why I you know, why I was so happy. What are you going to woo?
It's 10:18. Oh, you asked.
That was the reason I was so happy.
Because?
That I got the gabnet.net.
And nobody else has it.
Because the first name I want to use, I can use Alex, I can use a Bennett, I have that as well. I can have
okay, Mills,
Flopsy, Mopsy, and Cottontail at gabnet.net. So it's good if you can get your own email address. Thank God there was no other gabnet.net, but it was based on the fact that I already had an account.
Can you get it with a com at COM at the end?
Well, no, I originally wanted gabnet.com when I got Gabnet. But unfortunately, there is gabnet.com.
Are you serious?
Yes. It is. It's where is it? Brazil or something like that. And it stands for something Brazil, something or another.
Stop it.
Gabnet. I'm trying to remember who the other Gabnet is. Wait a minute. If I just go to it, if I just.
So I could have okmills.com?
Huh? No.
I could have an okmills.com.
If you want to go buy yourself.
No, I'm saying just theoretically.
No, the reason I was able to get gabnet.net at the end was because I own gabnet.net for a website.
Oh.
So
it's already there.
It's already there. All right. And originally I didn't want to have .net, but then gabnet.net seemed very right. But wait a minute, I got to remember, what is that other, hell, I can't type anymore, by the way. Did I tell you
can?
that?
I can't write anymore.
Gabnet.com, okay, and up comes, the the German academic brain pool.
Gabnet.
Yeah.
Gab. Who does all that research, if it exists or not? How do they do that?
I have no idea.
Probably in some big computer.
No, but they simply German academic brain pool, and then
GAB,
they said
it's
net,
taken.
so they went Gabnet, right? So anyway, I like, but Gabnet's
it's fine. It's fine.
You know,
it's fine.
Nobody ever gets confused with that.
It's because nobody likes to talk to old people.
What?
Just because.
Is that what you're saying? We aren't arguing enough. There's not enough people listening.
Good.
What are they writing here? Alex, your life is only useless if you believe it is. Think outside the box, you know? There's a bunch of creative things you can do from home, you know? And respect her, okay?
Thank you. Thank you, whoever wrote that.
AT&T bought DirecTV. Yeah, they bought DirecTV, but they also bought Time Warner. Because all these companies are
which means that they have an internet. They have
they're buying companies now that have what do you call it, programs and stuff that they can sell, right? So if they own HBO,
right,
they can go, hey, you know, come with us at AT&T and we'll give you HBO for free
for a year,
for free.
Yeah.
You know, I suspect that Netflix will be bought sometime soon.
By?
I don't know.
Did you hear Apple's going to start making movies?
Oh, they've been saying making movies.
Well, things.
TV shows.
TV shows.
Well, that's been in the works for quite a while.
Oh, what?
They already have something up. What is it? A couple of things they've got. Nobody's paying attention to it. I mean, it's outside of Apple's wheelhouse.
Yeah,
you know? It's not what they do best. What they do best is charge you an incredible amount of money for equipment, you know. But what they do best is innovations with the phone business and so on. Getting into programming because everybody else is, you know. It's getting to be such a glutted.
They're better with hardware.
Well, it's such a glutted place now. All this stuff. I find, for instance, that Amazon's kind of in it, but they aren't.
Oh, they're definitely in it.
No.
Oh, yes.
Not like Netflix.
Well, Netflix is Netflix.
I mean,
Amazon does other things.
Amazon puts up a new program maybe once a month.
Yeah, but Netflix is, that's all they do.
Yeah.
Is programming.
Yeah, but it looks like there was some talk that they're willing to sell.
Who? Netflix?
Netflix, yeah.
Who's going to buy?
I
That'll
don't
be
know.
Interesting.
It's worth a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
It is a very valuable company right now. Unlike Facebook.
That what, 880 billion?
Yeah. So do you hear our president today and all about his
fucking lying?
His lying about the economy?
Well, he lies about everything.
Well, no, the thing is that
he's already talking about. Wait. He's already saying, well, it's really the Russians are helping the Democrats because if they lose in November, then he has a good excuse. I don't know if you remember, but 2 years ago, before the election, he was saying, if I don't win, then there's something wrong with this election. It's thrown.
Yeah. But he was out touting how the gross national product was just at an all-time high. Well, he was wrong. It was higher under Obama. That at least at 4 times during the Obama administration, the GNP was higher than it is right now.
And he took it out of the sewer.
Huh?
He
had to take it out of the sewer. Yeah, absolutely. But you know, so he's bragging about stuff which, quite frankly, he's not all that responsible for. Also, a lot of the business going good right now still has a lot to do with the after effects of Obama.
Yeah, but he'll never admit that.
He you know. He would claim if it were a sunny day that he was responsible for it. You know.
Well, especially if it was something that Obama did. He hates Obama.
He hates Obama.
Yeah.
But anyway, so you know, and it's nice to know there are a lot. You know, we're down to about a 4% unemployment rate, which is very good. It's very good. However, wages aren't
going
very
down.
good.
They're going down.
They're going down. So you got people with jobs, but they're getting paid less than they got paid before.
And they're working 2 and 3 jobs.
And I'm still out of work. You know, where's my job? Anybody going to hire me? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Because, you know, when we talk about equal opportunity, that does not include old people, folks. Right?
It's true.
The only people that believe in equal opportunity that includes old folks are the people she works for, the Chinese. You know?
Yeah.
And they...
These guys are making so much money.
Who?
My company.
Really?
Yeah. Not me. I'm just on salary.
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, so...
It's 10:20.
I noticed in the picture, I've got everything framed just right so the on the air sign shows twice. Because, you see, we got the on the air sign there, and then it's coming from another angle from you. So.
Should I roll over?
No. Not yet. It's not time yet.
It's getting there.
Next week I've got to reset your camera. I've got to set you up so that you're a little higher in the frame. But I don't care. You know. Anyway, so we took care of our email, and I just think that I think everybody in America should have a free email address. You know, but the thing is about Gmail, you've got to use their system, and so that's what your problem was. And you didn't realize that no matter what you do, if you move your mail on Gmail or get rid of your mail online, which you go to your mail a lot online, you get rid of it there. It's gone off your iPhone.
Yeah, and my iPad, and the computer here.
And the computer here. Yeah, I mean, it's...
so if you want something for history, you don't have it.
Well, you know something? I have to play with it, but I think there is a way. I think you can put it in a folder and it'll stay there, and you can still get rid of it, and it won't take it out of the folder. But
I have a couple of folders, and the stuff stays in there.
And the stuff stays in there. Yeah. I'll have to check it out. But, you know, just on your Gmail account and on your Apple accounts, well, that's all you have. So, you know, well, you have the Citic.
The Citic, and I have CC Trash.
Yeah.
CC Track.
Yeah. Well, they don't exist anymore.
Well, they're still existing. I mean, they're keeping the office, but nobody has been there for 2 days. It's so empty at that end.
She was in an office where we
shared it with
her company.
Invested
Invested in another company.
That's a hedge fund that sold that.
So that company needed offices, so that you then shared the office with them.
Yeah.
So now they were about 2/3 of more than that.
75%.
75%. And now they're gone.
Well, they're not gone. I mean, the lease is under their name till March.
I know, but it's empty.
It's empty, yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, it's you and, 3 other guys?
Yeah, and they travel.
And they travel.
So it's like the old days.
It's like the old days where she used to be in an office and nobody was there.
2,500 square feet. Yeah. So we're looking for space.
Yeah.
Okay, it's 10:29. I'm coming over.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Let me. You know, I got to do a little changing here of stuff. All right. Jeez. Now you can come over.
Yay.
Okay. Let me see here. I got to open up the Skype lines. If anybody wants to call tonight, I doubt if they do. So.
Is it a fill-free night?
Huh? No. Why would it be a fill? Why would it be a fill-free night tonight?
Fill-free nights when I'm here.
Huh?
A lot of times.
Let me see here. Well, I guess we're open.
Can you move
for
your
business.
coffee and the microphone?
Here we go. She tells me what to do, folks.
Yeah, right.
She tells me what to do. Let me see here. I'm just wondering, is this going to be okay? I guess it's going to be okay. Yeah. Anyway.
Call in.
No? We need to have people call in, because I'm wondering if we have any people out there. Yeah. Anybody there that's green? Yeah. Okay. So we are on. Okay. I need to make sure that we're on. Okay. So now all we need are people to call. I hope because the screen is different tonight than it normally is.
Louise, call in.
What?
Louise. She listens.
Renee says aloha all. I wish Renee would call.
Thank you, Louise. I just read your message.
Somebody should call me so I know that this is working.
Renee, call in.
Oh, here comes Phil. Okay.
Here we go.
I was afraid because the screen looks different tonight. You know, as they're playing with this whole thing.
There he is.
Here we go. Here's Phil, and there you are. There you go. What? What?
Good evening.
Good evening.
You know, Marjorie, I get up almost as early as you do, and I'm able to. Well, I guess it's later there.
I get up at 3:45.
I get up at 5:30.
I'm at Starbucks at 5:30. I'm in my office at 6.
Yeah.
Even though Pete's better coffee, but she
it is. Do you have Pete's in New York?
No.
Well, there's a business. You know, open up a Pete's.
Yeah.
For the 1 cup of coffee that I drink a day, that's fine.
Yeah. Well, he'll give you a discount.
I do a cup of coffee and then a cup of tea. Right now tonight I do coffee. I do coffee on Friday nights because I figure if I don't get to sleep early, hell with it.
I thought about opening up a coffee shop in Berkeley once, but the only thing I could come up with was the name for the decaf coffee. I'd call it nuclear-free coffee.
I had to be up early today because I was expecting something to come by noon. I told you it came. See? Here it is. Alex Bennett's chest. Or back. Back.
So you got your X-ray.
X-rays, yeah. So I can show them to my physical therapist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So were they able to see anything? Did they show you anything that
I haven't been
indicated an issue?
I haven't been able to take it into them yet, Phil. I got it today.
Did you watch it?
I did. You can only watch it using a viewer that comes with it. Okay. Yeah. And I look at it. It's a software,
isn't it?
Yeah, and it. Well, I really wished it would be like
It's a software.
It's software, but the pictures are not a standard kind of picture. In other words, it's not like it's an MPEG or something like that. It's a. I can't remember the what they call it.
Yeah, and you can't convert it.
Yeah, and you can't convert it. Which I wanted to do because I wanted to put it up on my Facebook page because I put up my colonoscopy.
Why not?
What if you have it on the monitor and you take a screenshot?
I might. Yeah, that's not a bad idea, Phil. I hadn't thought about that. That might work. Okay. Yeah. But anyway, so but I look at the X-ray and I can't see how anybody sees anything there.
Well, that's why you do what you do, and they do what they do.
Yeah, I mean, I noticed that I had.
That's why they get paid the big bucks, Alex.
That I have a big curved spine now. No,
I have the curved spine.
You have a curved spine. You have scoliosis.
I have scoliosis, osteoporosis, osteoarthritis, stenosis, and herniated disc.
I can tell you what I have. Here we go. Wait a minute. Everybody, if anybody knows what any of this means, you look at this and you go, wow, really? They were able to see all that in those fuzzy pictures in that X-ray? I have, let me see here.
It's like the emperor has no clothes again. They all say that this is what they see in the X-ray, but there's really nothing there.
Frontal and lateral views of the lumbar spine were obtained. Comparison done. Minimal scoliosis with convexity towards left. What does that mean?
Means you lean left. Okay. We always knew that.
The curve.
Nerval bone mineralization. There are 5 non-rib-bearing lumbar vertebrae, multi-level degenerative changes.
Good night. Night, Phil.
Good night. With facet arthropathy and disc anyway.
What that
bilateral
sacroiliac is, you have some subluxation of the spine. You also have some of your discs are degenerating. The facets are the little wings that are on the side of the vertebra.
Oh, I see. So, in other words, my facets are with facet arthropathy.
I got a feeling, I'm not sure what that means, but I think you got some arthritis.
And intervertebral disc height narrowing, most prominent at L4 and L5 and L5 and S1. Normal pedices.
Stenosis.
Normal pedicels. There's no evidence of acute fracture or malignant or whatever. Anyway.
No cancer.
Bilateral sacroiliac degenerative changes, no radiopaque foreign bodies. Their impression?
Yeah.
Donald Trump. They're doing an impression of Donald Trump. No. Multi-level degenerative changes. Yeah, I read that. Attending physician note, I personally reviewed the images and residents' interpretation thereof and agree with the findings. That's the same as saying, I'm Donald Trump and I approved of this message.
Right.
Right?
You're just getting older. You have the narrowing is what may be putting the pressure on the nerve that you're feeling in the leg.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's my doctor figures. That's what I got.
Now, a similar thing was going on with Joe Montana.
Yeah.
And in his lower back, and they were able. He was young enough and he's strong enough that they were able to do sort of a rotor-rooter in the spine in those lower vertebrae, and he recovered very quickly. But I don't know, at our age, your age, I don't know that I'd touch it. I would just take Tylenol and call it a day.
Well, I'm going to this physical therapist, and it doesn't seem to be getting better. It maybe is a little better, Yeah.
Did they have you hang upside down or do any of those things?
No. They did
hang ups.
They did the what is it? Where the stimulation, the stim.
Oh, okay.
Electronic stim.
Well, that helps, but that's more musculature.
Well, whatever. I am. I just want relief from the grief. Hey, how about that? I want some relief from the grief.
Yeah, there's no relief from the grief. This is it.
Yeah. So anyway, so I've been enough of my medical stuff, but I just thought I would read you that because that's what it says is there, but I have no idea when I look at it. I can't see anything. It just looks like I got a spine, which I actually doubted many times in my life.
Now, this was an X-ray, not an MRI.
This was an X-ray, yeah. Yeah, he didn't even suggest an MRI, actually.
Wonder why?
I guess he figured what he needed to know he could find out with an X-ray.
Yeah.
Or a CT. He could have done a CT scan, but he decided not to do that.
That's right. You don't like the MRIs.
Well, no, I don't like them because I got claustrophobia. You put me in an MRI machine, I'm crying like a little baby. I'm screaming. I'm yelling,
Well, if you do what it is that you fear, the fear will go away. Longfellow said that. What you do is
fuck Longfellow. He's wrong.
Yeah, well, just pull the cover over your head. And then once you're comfortable with
that I'm fine with because I know I can take the cover off my head. I don't feel it's the idea of being put in a tube, okay, and not having much room to move inside that tube.
So you've opted that you wanted a coffin and to be buried when you die. Now, basically, that's being put in the tube and not being able to move too far.
That bothers me. That bothers me. I'm thinking now maybe that the crispy critter approach may be the right answer. Is anybody else going to call us tonight, by the way? Last night, everybody started calling. Boom, 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 boom. And but tonight it's just you and me, and we just lost a lot of people since she left.
Talking about your medical stuff?
Who knows?
That's Marjorie's fans.
I'm not going to talk about my medical stuff anymore. I'll leave that up to you.
No, that's okay. You got Steve for that.
Huh? Oh yeah, right.
If I think I had it tough,
Yeah, I'm going to take the phone number off of here. Hold on a second. I'll get rid of that. So that yeah, because
I see the phone.
nobody's calling anyway. So fuck them. So anyway, you been paying attention to the news at all, or are you getting to the point where you don't care?
But, you know, the news that I get is interpreted differently than the news that you get. The news that I get says, hey, he's doing a great job, and 4.1%, and everybody's ecstatic. And then and they're also, you alluded to the a statistic for Obama that he had greater than 4.1% 2 or 3 times over the 8 years that he was president.
Yeah.
And but the news that I heard said that his average was like 2 or 2.1%.
Listen here. There were 15 quarters during Obama's administration when the GDP growth surpassed 2%. Okay. Right. There were 8 quarters of growth of at least 3% and at least 3 of 4% or better.
Okay. The latter part of his administration, I think growth was running around 1 or 1.2%. And one of the things that Trump ran on was that he was going to get the GDP up to and above 4%. And here it is, almost halfway into his...
Well, listen to this. The highest GDP growth of Obama's presidency was during the third quarter of 2014, when it hit 5.2%.
All right.
So that's much higher than is happening right now.
But that's the anomaly that they're trying to say that Trump's increase will not be sustainable.
Well, we don't know what's going to happen to this increase. Right. Things go up, things go down. You know, just ask Facebook.
Some of the news that they're saying is that part of the increase is the fact that since there was going to be all of these tariffs on soybeans, that China bought a shitload of soybeans so that they could get it at pre-tariff prices.
Could be. But the president said the country is growing at an amazing rate and that we're on track to the highest annual average growth rate in over 13 years. Obviously, it's not true. I mean, I have the statistics right here. 5.2% in the third quarter of 2014 under Obama. He's sitting around crowing because it just went to 4.1%. Well, he's still got another 0.1% to go.
Yeah. Although I hadn't heard all of those other things, but Jeff wanted to say something.
Yeah, but I got that from an unbiased source. It was just purely somebody was writing about what the article was basically was about that Trump Jr. said that Obama never went over 2% and that was an absolute fucking lie.
But that's what I heard on the news.
Yeah, well, that was wrong. That's absolutely wrong, and these are the statistics to prove it wrong.
Yeah. Well, that's why I said I was getting certain information that was different from what you were saying.
Yeah. Yes. Jeff.
Oh, what was I going to say? You know, first of all, I agree with what Alex says about the statistics because I did a little bit of looking about it today. And obviously, these numbers were much better than the 4 they are now, and I don't even know if they're really at that 4, even though they claim that. But the other part is, what the hell does the president have to do with it anyway?
Well, that's simple. They're saying that his tax cut, that his reduction of what do you call it? Restrictions and his energy policy is what drove the 4.1%.
Well, let me ask you this. The Lord giveth, the Lord taketh away. Yes, there was a tax rate deduction. So that means the government is going to be getting less money from taxes. Am I right about that?
No.
Oh, really?
There's two ways to look at that.
Where's it coming from, Phil?
It comes from increased business, gives you more tax. So just because the percentage is lower, what they do is you collect more.
So far, we haven't seen the whatever come home to roost, because we may find out that we're going to have one hell of a deficit.
Jeff, what was the GDP prior to Trump taking office?
You know? I'm not sure, but I don't know why. I think 2 or something like that, or 1.
Yeah, I think it was like 1.2. So there's been a big increase since he's taken office, and everybody said that once Trump came in,
there was a big increase. There was a big increase. There was a big increase while Obama was president, and none of that was attributable to tax reductions or tariffs or any of that shit.
Well, he ran the show the way he wanted to run the show. This guy's running the show this way, and so far, there's nothing wrong with it. You know, the economy, if you're going to run on the economy, I think he's got a good story to run on. And, you know, because...
No, he's got a good story to run on. You know, somebody said today, and it's a very good point, Obama was, the Democrats were always complaining about Obama, that he never touted the good things that were happening under his administration. He never did what Trump does and start tweeting, "Hey, we're doing better with the GDP and so on." He just did his job, and it went up and it did things, but he didn't do a lot of publicity on it. This president, if the weather is good for a week, he'll take credit for it. You know, I mean,
you know, they have different styles. Does that mean that this guy's style is wrong because you like the other guy's style better?
It's natural attrition, and what goes up must come down. When this goes down, is Trump going to get on the air and say, "Oh, I'm so sorry, but the GDP went down. It's my fault"?
But you know what? Everybody is looking for those ups and downs. You're sitting back. If you give the guy enough rope, you might get your way, but on the other hand, you might not. Maybe he was right. I mean, he's following the policies of Forbes, the guy that ran for president.
Yeah.
What was the son of Forbes? I read his book too, and I saw him at the Commonwealth Club. I listened to his lecture, but he, you know, he was basically touting almost the exact same policies that Trump is using right now. Maybe they were right.
And how does that? Because it's coming out of Forbes' mouth, it's right?
No, I'm just citing the coincidence between Forbes' policy and what Trump is doing. That there happens to be a similarity.
Yeah. Yes, Jeff.
Well, I just happen to have my little. Every couple months, I have a meeting with my financial person.
Yeah.
And with my wife, and we sit down and go over some of the numbers and see what's going on. And in the last quarter, pretty much, we're talking about the profit that we're generating, okay? In other words, based upon our investments and whatever.
Right.
They're going up at about 2%. 1.5% on different investments. Okay.
Is that a year or a month?
It's the yearly. It's the yearly. It's the profit that the corporations and the investments are generating.
Yeah.
At this quarter. Okay. And it's only generating about 2%. On this stuff.
You need a different investment counselor.
Well, that might be true. That may be true.
No,
but I'm looking at the same stuff a year ago. It was at 7%, 6%.
Well, there's been a drop in the market.
I know, I saw that drop in my 401k as an example. Well, I saw that drop. Take place. I have a Vanguard account. precipitously in the Vanguard account when the stock market took a dump a way back. It's going back up now, but still, I was sitting there just going, look at all this money I'm getting. It's just rolling in, and then all of a sudden the bottom fell out of it.
Are you using, like, are you an S&P index or anything like that?
I don't know. Ask my business manager. He handles it for me.
Well, because that did very well. I mean, it did better than just the stock market itself.
Everybody's leaving us like crazy, and that's because nobody's fucking calling. Where are you tonight?
I'm nobody here, and Jeff's nobody there. And
I enjoy both of you, but come on, folks. Where are you tonight? Last night was terrific, and we had a good discussion as a result of it. Here, it's gonna be the two of us talking with each other, and that can get pretty dull.
Yeah. We can talk about tech.
No, please, let's not talk about tech.
So, what I saw in Facebook is over the last couple days, 120 billion. Now, I thought you said one day it went down 16%, and the next day it went down another 13%. I thought it
something like that, yeah.
No, that would have been 29%. What
they lost about 20% of their worth, is what was proffered yesterday, and that's a big dump for a company.
I said last night I didn't think that Facebook was making any money, so I looked it up. They got, I think it was $39 billion of ad revenue, and Apple wasn't much greater than that. I think it might have been 53. So you look at something like Facebook. What do they create? There's nothing there, and at least Apple, you got something on the desk.
Yeah, but there's a difference.
Think about the cost.
Yeah, there's a difference here. Apple is selling hardware.
Yeah.
Which means they have to produce that hardware, and there's a cost to that.
I understand, but they have only $53 billion in profit.
You know why? Why Microsoft was such a great deal for Bill Gates?
They only made the software.
They only made the software, and if you want, all of a sudden nobody was buying the latest operating system, you simply throw out a bunch of disks, which cost you a penny a piece, and you make up new ones at a penny a piece.
They figured out, hey, we can download this stuff, and we don't even have to have disks.
Right. So I mean, but where they made a big mistake is that Microsoft did go into hardware, but they did okay. They've done okay by it. Xbox.
Oh, with the Xbox.
Xbox, yeah, and also the what is it? The Surface.
Oh, the tablet.
Yeah, it seems to be doing okay, but really they're a software company, and Apple is really a hardware company, and the only thing that makes them a software company is they need to create the software to drive the hardware.
Right. So it was proprietary.
The whole thing's proprietary. In other words, Apple maybe could have made a fortune if they had said, we're going to sell our operating system to other companies.
Do you know what that's called? It's called vertical integration. When you have your own software, you make your own hardware, and so they're not reliant on outside vendors, and they can't be strangled by outside vendors because they're vertically integrated. And
but you know who they strangle? You and me.
Well, yeah, but don't you think you're getting? Look, they just came out with a new laptop, the i9. I saw a friend of mine did a
who came out with the i9?
It came out yesterday.
The i9. It's not called the i9.
Yeah, it's i9 is the processor.
Oh, the processor is an i9. Okay.
Right.
Yeah,
2018 MacBook Pro.
Okay, so it's a MacBook Pro, but it's got an i9 processor. Well, you had i7s, and I don't think we had an i8, but we have an i9 now. So,
Well, anyway, I guess it's got better battery life. It's renders the programs much
Well,
faster.
I mean, everything should get better, shouldn't it?
Well, it should, but you know, so Apple has just come out with this, talking about Apple.
Yeah.
That, and I guess it's a really good system.
But what I'm saying is that Apple never sold their operating systems to anybody else. They did try for a short time. Hi, Mark. Do you remember when Apple
knows more about Apple than all of us?
Remember when Apple, for a while, let another company make a Mac OS machines?
OS.
Companies. One was Power Computing, which I had. I had 3 of their computers. Radius was the other one, and Motorola.
Really?
I think Motorola.
Radius.
And that was after Jobs left.
Yeah, that was after Jobs was fired, before he came back.
Yeah, and so they sold their operating system to all these companies, and figuring that, hey, number one, we'll make money off the operating system, and also there'll be more people using the Mac system. But when Jobs came back, he slammed the door shut on that. Am I right about that, Mark?
Oh boy, did he!
What happened?
I had a Radius monitor. It used to be, it was on a swivel, and you could turn it horizontal or vertical.
Forget the monitor. That has nothing to do with the operating system.
Oh, that wasn't the same company?
It might have been the same company, but it's not. It has nothing to do with what we're talking about here. But what happened to those companies? I guess they just had to stop doing what they were doing, right? Or they had to go out of business, or
Power Computing definitely went out of business.
Yeah,
big time.
Yeah, and
and for a while, yeah, they were making better Macs than Apple. They just were.
I remember when I didn't buy an Apple. Apple offered me an Apple.
Oh boy.
And this was after Jobs left. And what's his name was the head of the company? I'm trying to remember his name now. Scully. And I kept saying how much I like my PCs and how the PC was terrific. And they said, let's loan you a Mac. What they didn't tell me is they really weren't loaning me a Mac. They were giving me a Mac because they weren't going to take it back. And I had this thing, and I started playing with it. It was the biggest piece of shit that I've ever used in my life. I mean, what I said, it was the what was it called? There was a term for it. The Power PC or Power Mac or something like that, or
original Power PC. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, at one point I had a problem with it, so I figured I'd open it up and just look at the guts. Do you know what they were using to shield something from something else? Tin foil. Tin foil.
Yes, I remember that.
I mean, it was the cheap. You know, now you open up this Mac Pro that I have down here on the floor now, and it's a beauty to look at on the inside. It's so solid, it's ridiculous.
Is that the one that looked like a spaceship and it came in different colors?
No. That was later on. That was under Jobs. That was the first iMacs that they came out with. They look like bubble gum or something. Well, you know, I mean, and that was the days when they still had tubes in there, so they needed something for the tube to fit in.
Yeah.
They changed the whole concept of the iMac once they got the flat screen. You know, they got the current iMac configuration, which is a lousy machine to buy in my estimation. I have one over here, and I realize that if it ever blows, I've just got a brick of a screen sitting there.
I was told you can't even upgrade the memory, the RAM in that machine.
No, you can't.
Only higher end models. Only the higher end models.
Oh, I see. Okay.
You can't do it on the higher end models, can you?
You can, but not the base models.
Oh, I think. Wait a minute. I did up the memory.
Ones.
I did up the memory in her machine. There is a memory thing that you can pull out or put in or something to add some memory to it. You can add memory. Well, you can't add memory to Minimacs anymore, but you used to be able to.
Well, the one that you've got from me it was maxed out.
Yeah.
That had 16.
Yeah, it had 16, and it's got the
i7
Fusion drive and stuff. It's a good little. It's a great. In many ways, I'd say it's as good as my Mac Pro. You know,
I
it would
told you it was a great machine.
Would replace it.
They're all the same.
It would easily replace it, except that it doesn't have a larger graphics board in it.
Oh yes, it does. I got a graphics board. Look at what it is. It was a special one that you could only get by ordering directly.
Yeah, but it still doesn't. What can I say?
You got to remember it's a couple of years old, you know.
Yeah, but it's great. It's terrific. I have no argument about it. I have no argument with the little one that I bought here. You know,
yeah, the $499 one.
No, that wasn't $499. It was like $700, $800, something like that.
Yeah,
I got more stuff in it, but. All I'm saying is that Apple could have perhaps made a fortune by selling out its software, but it never has, except in that one rare exception. While they had jobs out the door.
Yeah, but they had kits for developers, and there was a lot of developers that developed apps for Apple because there's a sort of a following that's almost cult-like.
There was no such thing as apps back then.
Yeah, they had these developer kits.
Yeah, to make programs, to write programs.
Right, programs, right.
Remember programs?
Aren't programs apps?
No.
I used to write
them. Hey, listen, I got to tell you something about Jobs. Everybody thinks Jobs was this genius, but I think Mark will even back me on this. He didn't like the idea of apps initially. He liked the apps that he had for it, but he didn't want third-party apps coming in. Mm. And finally, he allowed some of them to do it, and all of a sudden, there was an explosion of iPhone sales, an explosion of iPad sales because of the apps. So they opened up, they allowed developers to develop the apps, which they had to approve, and they opened up the App Store, and that's what drove, am I right, Mark? That's what drove the sales on the iPhone. No?
I don't know. He couldn't, I mean,
he didn't like the idea of anybody else writing programs for his equipment.
Yeah. Well, when my first Apple, which was really my first computer that I owned personally.
Apple II or?
Yeah, I think it was a 2. And there was software, engineering software that you could use to design products with. And all of a sudden, they stopped buying them.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't use them on any of the new products. And he made that decision himself. Why? Who knows? But I thought it was the dumbest.
What was that again?
I
I kind of not paying attention.
Okay.
Yeah.
There was a major application of designing products with what they used to call AutoCAD.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, and it was sold as an easy addition for the Mac, not the Mac, but the Apple IIe or whatever the heck it was.
Yeah.
Well, after a year, they decided, no, we're not going to cover that stuff anymore. And all the new computers, you can't buy it.
Right.
Oh, so it wasn't compatible with that software anymore.
That's it. And they lost a huge number of customers based upon that. And we started to go, well, what are we going to do now?
Mark has a questioning look on his face. Do you know what he's talking about, Mark?
Well, wasn't that from that wasn't Apple's fault. That was the developers of AutoCAD.
Well, I don't know who made the decision. I thought it was
Apple had nothing to do with that. That's not an Apple decision. Apple just gives them the platform so they can write the software for.
Well, why would they not? Why would they not sell it or apply it?
There are more PC users than Apple users, so you have all those resources developing the software. They didn't. I don't think they had two teams with developers. I think they had one team trying to develop for two platforms, and the numbers at that time, there were more PC users.
There still are.
Yeah, and it's like, well, now you have virtual machine software. Doesn't make a difference. You can run both.
Well, I like how Apple always used to like to brag that. Well, you know, there's not much malware for the Mac, and there are not many viruses for the Mac. Mac hasn't seen any viruses, and the reason is that if you're going to go and make a virus, or you're going to go and do some malware, are you going to do it for 9%, 7%, 8% of the marketplace, or are you going to do it for the other 92%? That's what's kept Mac safe. If Mac had the majority out there, they'd be so full of fucking viruses, it'd be ridiculous.
What's that Mac cleaner stuff that sometimes I got to shut the machine off?
Stay away from it.
I know. You know, and they try to download on top of other programs. Let's say you got to update your Adobe Flash or something, and so you got to do that, and then all of a sudden this stuff pops up. And
why doesn't somebody stop those people? Why are they allowed to go on doing that, especially using the name Mac?
Yeah. Well, they clean you all right.
Yeah. No. If folks, if any time you come across something which says Mac Keeper, it'll clean up your Mac, and it'll get it all in order and stuff like that. Do not install it.
The only thing they don't have is the Indian accent that says we're from Microsoft and we're here to help.
Yeah. I mean, do not.
My name is Charlie.
Yeah. Do not, whatever you do not download it. Allow it to be downloaded. It will fuck up your machine.
Yeah.
And then it takes it.
I had to call Apple because it came on with something else, and I had to call Apple. They were able to fix it.
How did they do that?
I don't know. They told me to press a couple of buttons and do a couple of things, and it was gone.
It was gone? Well, okay. Yeah. Well, I'm sure if you went online, you could probably find out how. Hey, folks, where are the callers tonight? This is ridiculous. Come on, a few more people just to add to the fun and the excitement of this fine program. So good to see you, Mark. What have you been up to?
I was on vacation. I was up in Gainesville for a week visiting a friend of mine. And when you ran that test last week, I was thinking, oh my God, Alex is on. I was staying with a friend of mine who was also a big fan of yours back in your PLJ and MCA days. And I figured, hey, you want to talk to my buddy Alex? And I realized, oh, you're just testing the feed.
Yeah. Well, the only way I can test the feed is by actually going on the air and testing it, you know. And I wanted to see if I could put it up on YouTube and Facebook at the same time. And I found out that I don't have enough power in this machine to do it.
I remember, I use Lightroom a lot. And with that Mac Mini, when I would do the sliders, it wouldn't render right away. And with this new Mac, it renders faster, but it still doesn't render as fast as, it's not immediate. I don't know how much power you really can get from these machines. They're not, what do I need, a 12-core? In order,
the machine.
I got a 6-core Mac Pro, and it's still not rendering as fast as it's not immediate.
The machine I have here is an 8-core. So yeah.
Hey, how you doing?
Hello, Steve. How are you?
I'm okay.
We still need some callers, folks. What?
I have a technology question for you.
You have a technology question for me. Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember, you were talking about apps. When did apps start? Was it in the 90s? Was it that early?
No.
Right?
Apps didn't start. No. Apps started with the iPhone.
Oh, that's right. So like 07, 08, yeah.
I guess. When was the
iPhone, I think started 07, I think. 06,
It was
07.
Yes, Mark.
Was it 05? Wow. Wow.
Yes, Mark.
Huh.
Was it 05?
No, maybe it was a little later.
It's about 06, 07. Yeah, the minute that
Yeah, right about there.
Yeah.
iPod.
the minute the App Store went on,
Right.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
the apps didn't come till about a year or two later, if I'm not mistaken.
That's
Now
it's coming back.
the only apps that they had were their own, you know.
Right.
After I got divorced, I wanted to buy my kids something that they would like for Christmas.
In other words, you were trying to buy their affection.
Yes, that's what they told me.
Okay.
And so that day, I said, well, I went to buy an iPod for each of them. And it was the first iPod that came out. And you couldn't get them. It was Christmas Eve or something. And so I called the Apple store in Palo Alto. And they said, we have two that are coming in. So I drove from San Francisco to Palo Alto, paid $500 a piece for these things.
Are you saying iPod? You mean the
iPod, the music thing.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the original iPod. $500 a piece, and I packed them up and brought them back. But I looked at this and I said, with the demand for this, I bet you if I bought Apple stock, it would be a smart move. Think I bought them? Nah.
Nah.
I think it was around 19 or something at the time that the iPod came out.
The iPod was a brilliant move. You know, it's not like they didn't invent something that didn't already exist. They just put it in a form that was easy for people to use and that they enjoyed using. In other words, it was the usability of it that made it. Because I think before that, there were several companies that had, MP3 players, but they just didn't have that sophistication in style and look and the screen and the whole thing. And it was style. It was form and factor, and then the technology.
Well, I also bought two cards that had $25 worth of music downloads. And so my youngest daughter says to me, oh, well, I can download 50 Cent, the singer. And I said, why would you want to download 50 Cent and pay 99 cents for the download?
It's 50 cents.
Yeah, it's 50 now.
Yeah, because it used to cost 99 cents to download a
well, I mean, still, I've got to say, I mean, I bought music off the store, because it's cheap enough. Yes, Mark.
But I'll tell you, I think part of the success was the iTunes software. Because do you remember, Alex, you had, I think Creative Labs had the Rio MP3 player before.
Yes, you're right. Yes, absolutely.
So they were the first out the door. But do you remember how many steps it took to digitize, convert, then load?
Yep.
A CD?
Yeah.
Here's the iTunes store. Pop the damn CD in, hook up your iPod, done. It took a little time, but it was like end to. That's what made and the deal they made with the Warner Music Group, which saved the Warner Music Group.
Yeah. By the way, Steve, there's a lot of noise coming off of your phone. So
I'll mute as soon as I can. I have to just make my way around this puddle in this corner. And I'll mute. I'm going to be off the main road anyway.
Yeah, the iTunes definitely made the whole thing. It made the package complete. I mean, you just stick your CD in there, and just press a button, and it puts it on your iPod. But you can't get an iPod anymore. As a matter of fact, my friend Shecky had an iPod, and it finally went south on him. And since I had two iPods here, I gave him one. And he was thrilled, but then he found out he didn't really need it. He didn't really need it because, hell, he has Echo. And he just says, play Tony Bennett, and it plays Tony Bennett for him. And if you want to pay them something like $3.95 a month, you can get millions and millions of selections to play on your Echo.
Can you download any of those selections? Or,
no. I guess you can. I guess you have the right to do that. Yeah, but
Wow.
but I just have it. So I'm paying now $8.95 a month. So it's on all my Echoes, because that's just for one Echo, and on all my Echoes. And anything I try to stump it, and it's unstumpable. You know. I say, play me all Frank Sinatra from 1940, and they'll play me, you know, Frank Sinatra from 1940.
Try it with Duke Ellington. It's amazing.
Yeah, I've done it with Duke Ellington, as a matter of fact. Yeah, you know, so, but the fact was that the reason the iPod became so popular was because of its ease of use and its usability for the user. Something a lot of companies could take a lesson from. You know, we talk about Skype and how they're changing to this new Skype, which may fuck what I do right now and the way in which I do it. And nobody ever asked them, is this what people want? You know, the thing that Jobs had was this innate ability to understand what the common man wanted and needed. He wasn't really a techie. You know, I had a friend who was a lot like him, Paul Montgomery, who died, who ran a company called Play Incorporated. And the one thing that he and I used to revel in was neither of us knew how to build this shit, but we knew what we wanted in it. And we knew what we wanted it to do. And that was where Jobs was so good. He really wasn't a techie at all, but he knew what he wanted to play with and how it would make him feel comfortable playing with it. And that's why he created so many great products. Yeah. You know, the iPhone was the next step. That was brilliant too. Hey, why don't we take the iPod and just put a, you know, and I've got this, the highest amount of memory that they got, because the iPod was a hard drive, you know. The highest they got was 250, I believe. I have 250 in this phone right now in memory.
Steve, your audio is
powering.
Let
me mute it. I'm in a good spot to do that. Okay.
250 gigs on 56 gigs on this iPhone.
Yeah. I got the same one.
Yeah, and you can put a lot of music on there. You know,
I downloaded one song, one album. That's all I got on there, and I cannot figure out. Every time I plug it into the car, to the USB thing, it starts playing that goddamn album. I've taken it off. I don't have any music on my iPhone, except for the one album, and I can't get rid of it. It's like a plague. I've even deleted it. I paid $10 for it. I deleted everything that I could possibly delete, and it still comes back. You know, it's like something from Twilight Zone.
It could be. It could be that it is on the cloud.
It is, I think,
and that it's playing it back from the cloud.
Yeah, how do you stop it? I mean, it's I don't even like the song anymore.
Use your Mac computer, go to your iCloud account, go up to the cloud account, look at all the things you got there, and get rid of it.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, that's my suggestion. Yeah.
All right.
But
I just don't know how to make it stop autoplaying. And it keeps playing and playing and playing.
The iPod also saved Apple.
Yeah.
You know, they went from being a computer company to a phone. Well, basically, with the iPhone, they became really a phone supplier. You know
what really made music was the Sony. It was a little cassette thing. I had one, Walkman, and I remember in 1980, I think it was, somebody let me listen to one once, and I said, wow, this is just a fantastic sound. I've never heard anything so good. And, then eventually I bought one.
Actually, what's happened to us is our expectations of what sounds good has been diminished.
Oh, because of digital?
Because of digital. what you're hearing, and I it's perfectly acceptable through your iPhone, is not as good as you used to get with like analog. You know,
Well, that's true.
You have people have lowered their expectations of what they expect things to sound like.
You know what?
You know what though? No, I was going to say it has gotten better. I mean, it's better than when CDs first came out. And you know what the problem is? You talked about this a long time ago. That 44:1 sampling is just not enough. Pro digital is good. Like in theaters and all, that's good. I like that, but thank God I have thousands of records, and I won't give them up. And I have a good stylus and a good turntable, and I will not give them up. And if I want to listen to them, I'll listen to them.
Good, and I hope you get a hernia lifting them.
I think everything's a comparison.
Yeah.
You know, everything's a comparison, and what happens is let's say you used to listen to music through your receiver, and you were watching television or something, and it was analog, but it was the television signal, like a concert or something. Now, when you listen to a concert that comes over the cable, digitally provided through the television and the stereo, the sound is so much better than what we used to hear, through. So when we look at that comparison,
all I'm saying is that what people listen to through earphones on their iPhone, it is you've lowered your expectations of what you expect to hear because you're not getting the full frequency that you would normally get.
Definitely.
But yes, Mark.
And part of the thing is, on a headphones like what you're using right now, Alex, a lot of it is the size of the driver. The driver's in there, they're smaller than a green pea, and we're expecting that to work like a driver from a nice pair of over-the-head cans.
Right.
And yes, they're getting better with it. They really are. I mean, I've heard some headphones recently that kind of blew me away, but you're going to have to pay for them.
People don't understand. Go ahead, and I want to make some kind of comment about digital sound.
Go ahead, Mark.
No, I was just going to say that people don't understand this, and I bet you, not just Alex, I bet you some of you can you know what I mean. It's hard to explain, but because of my vision or lack of it, whatever, and because I'm so plugged into sound, I could hear when I listen to especially a CD, I could hear that it's not a sine wave. I could hear that the waves are square. I could hear it.
Yeah, but that's you, Steve. That's not everybody.
Yeah,
most people. What I'm saying is most people aren't that discerning, and that's why I'm saying that we've lowered our expectations of what we hear. In other words, people go out and buy these Beats earphones and plug them into an iPhone and think they're getting just incredible sound, but they're not compared to the sound they'd be getting from a good home system.
Also, I understood that when people have a disability like Steve, sight-wise, your other senses become more acute.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely true. I'll tell you. But the one thing that I do like I like CDs. I like the ease of operation, and I also like that the lack of you don't have harmonic distortion. And that's good. But other than that, I'll take my records.
Listen, I like even better going, Echo, play Tony Bennett. Echo, Great American Broadcast Network. No, I don't have one in here, Mark. So, in fact, I have 3 of them. And I installed the other one.
I was just worried that my Alexa was going to pick up on that.
Well,
because he calls it Echo.
Well, I say Echo because in my household, saying Alex is a problem. Okay?
Shit.
So I have it so that it goes with the term Echo. And thank God we don't have our Chinese friends coming to visit because her name is Echo. So... But we use the term echo, so I go echo, but I didn't put it in the studio because I knew, because Alexa or Echo gets, I keep forgetting what the name of it is. It's actually called Echo, and Alexa is what you say to it.
You're making Mark nuts.
Yeah.
Every time you say it.
See, in my bedroom, I have it called computer. When I was watching Star Trek,
yeah,
it's like, oh no. Sorry, I don't know.
Well, does yours, let me ask you this question. Does yours get Alzheimer's now and then? And all of a sudden start babbling for no apparent reason?
No, it hasn't gone zombie on me yet.
Mine has.
Uh-oh.
You see, what it is in the bedroom, I have one of these little echo spots, which is really nice as a clock by your bed and so on, and it does all the echo stuff too. But it's right near one of my surround sound speakers. So for some reason, I don't know, some tone or something goes off or whatever, and all of a sudden she'll start babbling about, well, I really don't have an answer to that question, but I'll look for it. You know, I'm going, what? I didn't say anything. They didn't say echo on the TV. They didn't say anything like that. So I think what it is...
My iPhone does that.
Huh?
My iPhone does that.
Really?
You know, all of a sudden, it'll think I said, "Hey Siri," and
here's where Apple is.
Oh, it just did.
Here's where Apple is really fucked. Siri sucks.
Yes.
It's funny.
I can't stand that voice.
But Amazon with Echo, and I think Mark will agree with me, is far more accurate. Am I right?
And I hear that the Google Assistant is actually pretty good too now.
Well, when I'm texting, I basically use Google to dictate a text. I dictate all my texts, and it's using Google. Far more accurate. But when I do stuff,
Google. Yeah,
I type with the finger.
Really, my fingers, forget it. They're
the only time I use the audio thing is if I can't spell the word.
I need to get find another design. Maybe have somebody help me a little bit. I want to get a better design for the keypad on my phone, and there are a lot of them out there. I saw some good ones last year, and I just didn't bother. I should have at the time, because there are some that, you know, I could do. They look like a control pad in an airport. I mean, it looks like an airplane. You know.
Well, I wonder if there are any rights groups that have gotten together and decided to yell and scream about the fact that Apple or all these companies should actually make Braille-capable keyboards.
They should.
You know, for the phone. For the phone.
Well, how would you do that?
Well, I don't know, but you know, there's such geniuses there. They got a genius bar. Figure it out for yourself.
There's an overlay.
Yeah.
Is there really?
There is a company that makes an overlay that fits right where the keyboard. But the problem is, you got to be lugging around the overlay, the Braille overlay. There was a patent. One of the Apple news sites pointed to an interesting LCD screen that actually gave, I guess, the idea that it could make a shape. The surface can change.
Yeah.
And people were saying this might be the direction for giving a feel, like a tactile feel to the surface of an LCD screen. I think that's the solution. People were saying this would be great for Braille,
but they're probably not working too hard on it because, quite frankly, you know, they don't. The blind or visually impaired population is not large enough to make it necessarily important for them to develop this. You know.
You know, when I learned to type, it was on an IBM Selectric, and I always liked the feel of that kind of keyboard. And now these chiclets that they have don't feel that way. But I was on Facebook, an ad popped up that had this retro keyboard that's supposed to have that feel. I haven't bought it.
This piece of cheesy shit.
Is that the one I sent you?
Huh? No, the one you sent me is in the other room. And this one has I can plug it in here. Oh, here again is another piece of Apple's brilliant engineering. I hope everybody's interested in this, because nobody else is calling about anything else. So I got something else to talk about. We'll do that in a minute. In order to charge it, it's got a thing right here, right? And you just put your same one you use in your iPhone to charge it.
Right.
Although I have a thing where I use a pad and it's induction now into this new phone, but and that's fine because you can plug it in and then you can keep typing. Well, on the mouse, they have this is again a Magic Mouse, and it does the mouse, and it has another input just like on the keyboard for the charging. There's only one problem. It's right here, folks. Can you all see where I'm pointing?
Use it while
so
it's
that
charging?
when you charge it, when you put it in, you can't use it. Now, why didn't they just put it like somewhere like right on the bottom here?
Don't they have an induction
You have to
mouse?
buy a magic trackpad while that charges.
Yeah. Don't they have an induction?
I have a
mouse?
trackpad that I use while it's charging. Yeah. What'd you say, Phil?
Don't they have a mouse that works charges on an induction pad, so you can just leave it on the pad when you're not using
yes,
it?
I do. I have one in the other room, but I had to buy a special battery to put in there. It's rechargeable, and then it's a little pad, and then I just put it on the pad and it charges it.
Oh, talking about batteries, today I almost had a real mishap. I had two AAA E-Loops batteries. These are rechargeable batteries, and I had taken them out of a device because I have maybe 30, 40 batteries, and put them in my pocket. And my keys were in my pocket, and then all of a sudden I started feeling something that was really warm. I mean, it was hot, and my keys were hot. And then I reached into my pocket, and there were the batteries, and they were burning in my hand. They weren't on fire yet, but they were so hot, I actually threw them out into the parking lot, so because I couldn't hold them in my hand.
I've had that happen. I've had that. Yeah, they've been so hot. Yeah.
So what had happened was the keys and the fob and so forth that I had must have caused them to short. And that's the same kind of thing that maybe happens on airplanes, where batteries explode, and in people's phones when the battery explodes, there's some sort of short.
Yeah.
But it was I threw the batteries away because I didn't want to take a chance of using them and screwing up my charger.
We've been joined by Ray Renati. Are you there, Ray?
Yes, I am.
There you are, and he's at home today. He isn't out walking the dog.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
Just got off my bike.
Yeah. So,
I got off my bike and walked right over here.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you called.
Thank you.
So we have Jeff here, we have Mark, and we have Steve, and we have Ray, and we have Phil. So it's a nice little batch of people here that we've got. Listen, I want to bring something up here. Let's change the discussion away from
Apple.
And away from technology for a second. And let's get to something that is very interesting, because you want to talk about stock going down. The stock for Facebook, for CBS dropped today precipitously.
Why? What do they attribute that to?
Oh,
Les Moonves.
Moonves.
Was it really? Yeah, right.
This little piece of shit, Ronan Farrow, who I cannot stand, he decided to go after Les Moonves, and he's the person that found did the original. He didn't really do the original Harvey Weinstein story. Somebody else did, but he got it out first. Yeah. Okay. And so got a lot of credit for that. So then he's been outing everybody, right? He's been doing these constant stories for the New Yorker about sexual improprieties on the part of the rich and famous. And he now has done a whole thing on CBS and the fact that Les Moonves, he has 6 women who say that over the years, he has made improper advances towards them. This was so impactful on CBS that the stock dropped precipitously today. That's how important Les Moonves is to CBS. Although maybe if they fire him, they'll find out he isn't as important as they thought. But, you know.
Kind of like Matt Lauer.
Yeah. So kind of like Matt Lauer. Yeah, they were always afraid of getting rid. Nobody liked Matt Lauer, but nobody wanted to get rid of Matt.
I didn't like him.
No,
Yeah.
no, it doesn't matter whether you didn't like him. I'm talking about people who work for him. But
right.
Nobody.
But Les Moonves is on the corporate side of things, right? He's not an actual
he knows.
TV personality.
He's got his finger in programming so thick that
Oh, really?
If it were a woman, it would squeal. Okay, he's pretty much it. Anyway, he has been. Yeah. There were something like 6 women, including Ileana Douglas. You know who that actress is?
No.
Who accused him?
I know the name
of coming on to her, and that her career at CBS was affected by not
Wasn't
sleeping.
she on the Beverly Hillbillies?
No.
Douglas.
I remember Letterman used to make little pokes at him all the time.
Well, he and Letterman hated he hated Letterman, and Letterman hated him for years, and then all of a sudden they really got to like each other a lot. But anyway, here there are allegations of unwanted kissing and touching.
Yep.
You know, this is a long way from shoving your dick into somebody. You know. I mean, how are we going to have whole stocks start failing because this little twerp Ronan Farrow found 6 women who felt that Les Moonves 20 years ago came on to them. You know, when at that time nobody said it was inappropriate. I mean, he said that what did he say? I don't think I have his statements here, but he came out with a statement saying that he probably over the years had come on to some women, and if he made them feel uncomfortable, he feels terrible about that. But that he always realized that the word no meant no. That's how he put it. I always respected the fact that the word no meant no. And so now what's going to happen to Les Moonves? Now, this is a guy who CBS's fortunes are tied to at this point. He knows where the bodies are buried. You know, he knows how to make TV shows that sell and how to run networks. And, you know, he's done very well for CBS over the years. What do you think's going to happen to him?
Nothing.
I hope nothing.
I think the Me Too movement is pretty much over.
It isn't a question of the Me Too movement. It isn't a question that the Me Too movement is over or not over. Ronan Farrow isn't over.
No, but it's it's a topic that's sort of going away, almost like Black Lives Matter.
Well, I think those people who are accused now it's less impactful than it was when you were the first on the list. They just AMC just reinstated this guy. What's his name? Who does Chris Hardwick, who does like After Talking, Walking Dead, or whatever. Talking Dead, Breaking Bad.
Walking Tall.
Whatever. Anyway,
look at us, we're walking. Look at us.
They put Chris Hardwick on waivers because of accusations against him. And now they have said, well, we're bringing him back. Now, they didn't say we found that he was innocent of everything. They just decided to bring him back. So if Chris Hardwick had been part of this in the beginning of the Me Too movement, I don't think he'd be working right now.
Right.
Would you agree with that, Mark?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
So it's kind of set and setting more than anything else. And, we don't hear anything about Kevin Spacey. And yet he's never been legally charged with anything. And yet I don't think we're going to see him in another movie again anytime soon. Right?
Well, One of the women here claims that she threatened to ruin her career if she didn't acquiesce to what he wanted. I don't know if it's true.
Okay, well, but you know something? If you say it to Ronan Farrow and he publishes it, that makes it true.
No,
but
I'm not saying it is true.
He has. Yeah, no. But what I'm saying is, the trouble with Ronan Farrow is how far does he vet these claims?
Right.
You know, it's very easy for somebody to make a claim because they either want publicity or they want some money or something like that. All this stuff, especially in this kind of situation, since the ruin that it can do on a career is immense, it should be very well vetted. And it doesn't look like Ronan Farrow did any vetting. He just listened to women saying, "Oh yeah, he touched me on my pee-pee, and I didn't get a job after that." Maybe you were a lousy actress. I don't know.
Amazing.
You know, and he did wind up fucking the help because he married her. You know.
Yeah. And she's sticking by him, it says here.
I'm sure she is, and I'm sure he's probably been a good boy since he, you know.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't look like the kind of woman you exactly fuck around with, you know.
No, definitely not.
This guy, he goes from like a two-bit actor, right?
Yeah, that's what he was. Yes, absolutely.
You know, to me, it's like if Radar became the CEO of it just boggles the mind.
He was on, I think, shows like Gunsmoke or something. I don't know. I can't remember. They've shown some clips occasionally of him, and he was a failed actor who slowly but surely became probably the most powerful man in broadcasting. Certainly runs the biggest network in broadcasting, the most successful network in broadcasting, and you're right, you know. But I think somebody has to start putting Ronan Farrow's feet to the fire and say, come on, you don't just say so-and-so told me this and so-and-so told me that, and they're all anonymous except for, I think, Ileana Douglas.
Is this another example of fake news?
No, it's not fake news. It's irresponsible journalism.
What's the difference?
I guess I would say that, number one, there is no such thing as fake news.
Isn't it all irresponsible journalism?
No, I'd say most of the organizations out there are very responsible as journalists. Hello, Renee. Yay, we thought you were dead or something from volcano smoke.
No, but if you send me more Republicans, I'll throw them in the volcano.
Okay, good, because Pele loves to eat Republicans.
Yeah, well, see, I'm trying to get a GoFundMe page to actually send an orange person into the black hole with a GPS tracker to find out exactly what's going to happen. I thought a live test would be okay. Yeah. Wow, this Skype is pretty, isn't it?
Your neighbor says that the VOG is headed over your way. James.
Yeah, it's been here for weeks. We get clear. So right now, the sky is literally the same color as the ocean, gray. You couldn't tell the difference. We've had this weather for weeks.
Really?
Yeah, we got to see the sun last week for probably like a day and a half.
Wow.
But we've had so what happens is this is where the volcano is, and the wind brings the weather up here. So it goes around the bottom of the island, and for some reason it gets pushed this way. So yeah, Hilo looks really nice.
That volcano, that volcano has absolutely no desire to stop, does it? I mean, it is just, they say they have no, people say, well, when is it going to stop doing this? And they say, we have no idea. It could be years.
Mm-hmm. When you put sacrifices for the appease the volcano god, that's, you know.
Yeah, you're just not doing the right stuff, you know.
Clearly.
You know.
Yeah, no, I'm going on so in 2 weeks, I've got my seasickness medication somewhere here, and I'm going on the lava boat tour, and so...
Oh, really? Where the lava comes and hits your boat?
Mm-hmm, that one.
Well, that one can no longer go within 150 feet of the lava. Now it's 1,000 feet, right?
I think it's still at at 500, but they just had the meeting yesterday, and I don't know what the rule is. So what it was is they had a specific distance they had to stay away from the coast because of the delays and
they had
flying objects.
You know what I think would be really fun is if you took duck boats and let them go within 500 feet of the lava.
Oh, you don't need that. They sink on their own. There's no reason to add a volcano to those. So what it was is you had your, what is that called? Yeah, but you had your discretion. If you were the captain, so let's just say this was the actual lava coming into the ocean. You had a discretion in that zone.
That company that had the
everybody had the
bomb
discretion.
go through it. Mm-hmm. They had a permit, I understood, that allowed them to go within 150 feet.
Yeah.
But other people didn't have that permit.
Not all companies have that availability. But now here's your point. Because they had this permit and because this happened, nobody gets to go that close anymore.
That's right.
So everybody's removed from that. So there's no specialties anymore. I am taking a whole lot of cash. So if the guy driving the boat's listening, I'm going to be I'm real happy as long as I can get my shots. But I'll be dishing that baby out.
Yeah, let me just say this, that for people who don't know, Renee, because the picture, no matter where you're calling from now, looks good, whether you're in Europe or whether you're in wherever. We even had shots from Manila and an iPhone, or not an iPhone, but a Russian Alcatel.
Phone. I saw that.
Yeah.
You know they're listening to a Russian phone.
From Manila. She is in Hawaii. She is on the Big Island. She is on the island where that volcano is doing its stuff. And I got to say something. As deadly as it is, it's beautiful. Don't you wish you were there, Mark, taking pictures?
Oh,
yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's just, I can't wait for that. So the good news about being fat, everyone, just to let you know, the good news when you go on on an airplane or a small airplane or a helicopter, when you're fat, you get to sit, because the weight distribution in this case, I get to sit next to the window, guaranteed. I don't have to pay to an upgrade or anything. But because of my weight, I'm going to have to sit on one side so that the helicopter doesn't have a problem.
Yeah, but suppose there's a fatter person than you on the plane. Then you may have to move over to another area.
Well, no, I'm hoping they'll set him in the center.
By the way, you don't look that huge.
I had a deal where through American Express I got a free helicopter ride from Nice to Monaco, and I had to pay for my kids. But so there was only 4 people in the helicopter. My kids.
Nice to Monaco is about 5 minutes, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a short ride, but my kids had never been in a helicopter before, and they put them in the front where it's glass underneath.
Yeah.
And, the helicopter starts going up. You should have seen their faces and the smile on their faces of the experience of the helicopter. So I know kind of what you're going through.
So the helicopter, I'm going to do the doors off one.
Yeah.
And so I'm like...
Are they gonna
they strap.
Well, then if we need a sacrifice to Pele, all they need to do is just push you out.
There's a helicopter, yeah. All the helicopters, they go every hour, almost on the hour. So people, if you're here and you want a helicopter ride, it's cheapest to drive to Hilo, but how close do they get to the volcano? Because you don't want a helicopter getting too close, because the air and it will clog up the whole works, and the helicopter will stop working. I have a movie on how they made the movies for Cinerama, and there's one in which they went over a volcano, and they almost got killed because as they got over the volcano while it was spewing, their engines started to go, and they just made it to the lip of the volcano before they were almost going to crash. And their engines
this
started.
This guy I know used to work for DJI quadcopter, the ones that make the drones.
Oh, yeah.
And he flew with government approval a drone into a volcano in Iceland. And then he also had another drone photographing the drone that flew into the volcano. When he got it back, the quadcopter had almost melted. But he was able. You can look him up. His name is Eric Chang. He's currently the director of photography for Facebook.
Wow.
So I need to give you guys a YouTube channel. Everybody listening. The United States military is the people doing the flyovers, and they have the clearance to actually do, I can't find my YouTube. They actually have the clearance to fly as close as possible to the volcano because they have the measuring equipment in there. What they do is they produce it and they put it on YouTube under the United States military. And they're also allowed, and some of the really cool footage, which I'm going to go back and watch because you're going to want to see this one, is they took a U.S. military drone into that. Remember, the upper part of the volcano is not exploding except for once every 24 hours.
Fissures, it's a different kind of
exactly.
Volcano.
So they took a drone into the crater that's collapsing all the time, and you can actually see them fly where it used to be, how big it is now. You can see the walls just scaling down off of, and so they were getting a little too brave with the drone, so they backed the drone up. But I'll get you guys the military URL for the YouTube when I find YouTube, and why I had to get a new computer. That was the other thing I was doing while I was gone.
What'd you get? We were just talking about computers.
I know, I heard you. I've been listening, I just haven't called you guys.
It looks
new i9 Mac?
It looks good.
Oh, no, honey. Your sister's sad.
Well, you got 14 days to take it back. You know.
I have a MacBook, an iMac Pro.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Now, yes, Mark. Would you like to play with it? Yeah. Well, I'm stuck. I was stuck in between. My other computer was dying. It's 6 to 8 years old, and because Apple only announced software in May or June and didn't announce any hardware, and they're not going to announce hardware for another 4 weeks when their next meeting is. And even if they announce a brand new desktop, I'm not going to be able to touch it until sometime in 2019. So I bit the bullet. I got the student discount, and it was only like $400 difference between me jacking up the price on the old iMac to get the iMac Pro. So.
And how much was that?
Oh no, honey, you don't want to know.
So it got the 27-inch screen, or is it bigger?
Oh, it's 27 inches. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Why would you go small?
Yeah.
So what I've been working on is my HomePod, both of my Apple televisions, my cell phone, my iMac, my iPad. They're all linked now. I was having a lot of connectivity problems, but Apple hooked me up, so I can run everything from almost anywhere.
Well, you learned how to make it so that if you change something on any of your Apple TVs, it will change on the other Apple TV, like the icons and things like that. Yeah. I'll tell you what I love about the Apple TV, and I have 3 of them. I have 2 that are 4Ks and 1 that's 1K or whatever. What I love about it, and what I love about the 4K especially, are the screensavers. The pictures of the aerial shots of deserts and Dubai and.
I changed mine to my own photos, so so now I've got.
Go back and watch some of those aerial screenshots. They are breathtaking. No, but they are they're breathtaking.
There's a skyline view on the Samsung television of a city done by a drone, and I know that they enhance that because it's almost like the screensaver comes at you. It's like you're flying.
Well, that's what
it's very impressive.
That's what the aerial photos of Dubai look like. It looks like they enhanced them.
You may have seen the exact thing they're using as a screensaver. You know what I'm talking about, Mark? You probably.
Yeah. The thing with the Apple one, if this is the ones I'm thinking about, those are actually 4K video clips.
Yes.
Really?
Because if you look carefully, especially going up the river, you see movement. So it's like, is this a live view? I'm thinking, no, it's just, but it's so beautiful.
Well, see, I thought I was drinking when it was moving. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's nice. But you're right, it is really pretty. So I didn't realize it was video. I thought
it. Guys, have you discovered Lumineer's MacFun software? It's got filters and so forth, and it works also as a Lightroom plugin. It's called Lumineer, and it's I think $60. It's amazing what you can do with it as far as editing. And
I don't want to learn any more software. If somebody says software to me, I'm
let them buy some time on this program to plug it. You know.
Yeah, Lumineer.
Oh, so on the other side, I got an iPhone 10. I bid it.
Yeah, well, yeah. So did I.
Yeah, it's absolutely, it's wonderful. And now that everything is synced and my HomeKit is synced, I can frickin' do anything from frickin' anywhere on the planet. Thank you, Apple's engineers.
Well, I think it's amazing that it recognizes me when my wife doesn't. You know, so it
Well, what's the Apple Wi-Fi thing? It's like a white canister.
It's an airport time capsule.
Yeah, airport. They don't make them anymore.
You know
no,
why?
they are still making them, but they're end of lifing them.
Yeah.
And so I wrote them a letter because what I want them to do, since Siri sucks so bad, I want them to stop manufacturing Siri and team up with Sonos and let Sonos handle the stereo stuff and allow Apple to continue to manufacture their airport.
Wait a minute. What is Ray going for? What is that, Ray?
He painted his silver Buddha. He painted his Buddha silver.
A Buddha.
It's Netsuki or something.
I'm just getting bored, so I have to keep
sorry,
myself.
we're talking. Yeah. All right, we'll pick something else.
Well,
what are those communion cookies in the bucket?
No, they're little nuts. They're almonds.
Chocolate almonds.
Almonds.
Yeah. Oh, of course, the Kirkland. Yes, I have
these are
those.
good, man.
Yeah, they're very good. And
so Ray, your dog was so cute. Watching you walk your dog is just very cute. I like that.
Like that? Yeah.
Oh yeah, because you walk where I used to walk.
You used to live here?
Hey.
Oh, that's right. You told me.
Yes, of course.
But
hey, Alex.
I have to tell you,
yeah,
it's hotter fucking in Texas and in the middle of the United States than it is in Hawaii.
Hey, you hear the music.
My parents live in the foothills of Sierras, and it was 101.
Whoa,
103.
buddy. Not even close. Not even with humidity are we close to that.
It was 82 degrees here today.
72 in Palo Alto.
Yeah. Hey, listen, we got to go. The music's playing. You know.
Okay, hey Alex, could you get one of you? Could somebody start a GoFundMe page for me so I don't have to pinch groceries from the store at the end of the month?
Not really, not really.
Okay.
Okay.
Don't worry, I'm all right.
Yeah,
I'm all right.
Yeah, Jeff, thank you so much for calling tonight. Mark, always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Ray, always a pleasure. Phil. Okay, and Steve, thank you so much, and Renee, we're so glad you're back with us again, and you look better than ever because that machine is just kicking fucking butt.
I think you lost weight.
Oh, thank you. Oh, look at Phil being a Republican.
Yeah,
lying to my
yeah.
face.
Anyway, why doesn't everybody give a big wave goodbye so that they can all see? There we go. That's our citizens panel. Good citizen panel. Got a nice night tonight. Just nice and just simple discussion about this, that, and the other thing, and nothing too terribly political going on. And I thank them for calling and you for listening. And I want you to stay tuned for Jack Bishop. He's next with the Intersection, and then after that at 1 o'clock in the morning. It's a repeat because they're not live. They're not new tonight of Connections. And we'll see you again right after Damian Chaplin hits the airwaves on Tuesday at 9:30. We'll see you at 10 o'clock. Same time, as I always like to say, same station in life. And in the meantime, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Bye, everybody.